As a disclaimer, Monster Fuckers Anonymous is indeed about wanting to love and have sex with monsters, but we want to make things extremely clear from the get-go. The monsters we will be selecting will be sentient and able to consent. Not all of the chosen monsters will be sapient, but we will not be endorsing zoophilia or bestiality. Anthropologically, monsters all around the world, and media representations of them, have had many racial and sociological implications. We will be as transparent and ethical as possible, while also sex positive and mostly having fun.
Monsters. Creatures feared all around the world in folklore and myths. Terrifying beings such as the fiendish and frightening fae, demonic devils, sultry sirens, hazardous harpies, and countless chaotic creatures coming from crevices of every continent. As long as stories have existed, there's been one pressing question that has remained unanswered by scholars for generations. One powerful thought that has plagued our minds for millennia. Can we fuck these monsters? That is what we're here to find out today. Welcome to Monster Fuckers Anonymous.
One and all to another fantastic episode of MFA, aka Monster Fuckers Anonymous, where horny people on the internet talk about monsters and just straight up want to fuck them. I am your colorful creature consultant cleric, here to come up with weird scenarios that will always piss off both the audience and my co-host, my lovely, amazing, talented, tremendously pain in my side, Joe.
I'm eating a snack. Hang on.
Oh my god, we are recording.
No,
we are recording, Joel.
I'm keeping this in.
I know you are.
Hi, I'm hungry. Cleric doesn't let me eat before these recordings.
I don't. Time is money, and I'm fucking making money.
I have acid reflux, and me having to deal with my own body is my own misfortune.
Truly it is. Welcome to another episode. You guys know the drill by now. It's where we're going to pick a topic of various monsters that are all around, talk about their personality, their attitudes, where they're at, all this kind of stuff, and then rate them and give them a numerical value on how likely you should fuck them. Before we get started, just a couple things. One, MFA is now on Podchaser, where you can leave written reviews for the show. So we'd really like to see some. So if you have anything you want to tell us, please leave a review, and we may even read it on the show. And number two, MFA has a Ko-fi, so if you'd like to support the show and help us pay for our editor, our artist, we could really use your support. And if you do support us, we're going to put exclusive things on there, like bloopers, drunk episodes, maybe doing live streams of dating sims, like one in particular that we really, really like. But all those kind of things, you don't have to support us there, but we'd really appreciate it. Now, Joe, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
I didn't pick a topic for today. Did you pick a topic for today?
No, I actually did not either. I did not do that. We're not prepared.
Then why did we record wait, I'm sorry. Someone's pulling up to my window, which is weird because I live in an apartment.
Is that a Maserati?
Is it a Maserati? And who's stepping out of the Maserati? Is that Twitch's own Brandy Rose, TTRPG extraordinaire, host of Roll With It, cringeworthy, fuck, I messed it up. Eat crit, cringe warning, quick start, and a whole bunch of other more podcasts. I can redo that. We're going to redo that one.
We do it.
I liked it. I feel like, first of all, cringe warning is cringeworthy. So you were 10 for 10. I might rebrand.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the show, Brandy Rose.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about fucking some monsters. Finally, I get to do an appearance on a show that I really stand behind with morals that I represent.
Yeah, political platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we here at MFA are the pinnacle of morality and of what public decency should be. And if you think that's incorrect, suck our dicks.
Suck our collective dicks.
True.
Yes.
It's the trident of dicks.
Mm-hmm.
But Brandy, you had a topic you wanted to bring up to us today, to the Council of Monster Fucking, and what would that be?
I do. I humbly present the collected universe, the Monster Prom / Camp Cinematic Universe, for us to use as a buffet.
absolutely beautiful. I think all three of us absolutely love those games. I think we're all super excited to talk about this episode. But Brandy, why did you want to talk about Monster Prom? What draws you to it?
Well, there really is a nice wide variety of monsters to choose from. It really is a buffet. But also, I'm extremely competitive, and I don't mind losing against other people. I hate losing against computers, Calculaster. And I have never successfully scored an actual date on this game on either Monster Prom or Monster Camp. The closest I've come is a situation with Calculaster where I saved the world using the wonderful powers of sex. But I've had very little success with it, so this game really haunts me, and I stream dating sims, specifically queer dating sims, all the time on my Twitch. So this game has not only been my private shame, it has also been my public humiliation, and I would just like to kind of explore that. I don't like to shy away from a challenge. I would like to at least be able to okay, you know what? Maybe I couldn't romance you guys in the game yet, but I can explore it. And I just think there's such a wide variety of characters in this. It's really cool. I love the character design.
Yeah, I think Monster Prom, the whole Monster Prom Camp universe is a monster fuckers buffet. Truly, you can find somebody for you there. You got minotaurs, you got werewolves, you got snake people, fish people. I don't think they have bird people yet, but eventually. Well, I guess Mothman kind of counts.
How?
They got wings.
I think we're about to teach Cleric that moths are not birds.
They have wings and they fly, so equals bird.
Very important question before we actually get into things. Who does everyone play? Which PC do y'all go for?
I go for Oz every time, I think, in Monster Prom, and then in the second, when they have the DLC characters, I go for that little squiggly thing with a hat.
Iconic. I see that for you. I go for Vicky because I like performing femininity like it's drag, and she just looks like a bimbo. And I love her so much. I say her as if I don't always give the Vicky character my name and they them pronouns, but the her is performative. It's like a drag queen's her.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. In Prom, I always play Mira, and in Camp, I love Abdu, who's the mummy, the yellow skin. I go for the sexy ones.
Are you saying Oz isn't sexy?
Oz looks like you.
And again, are you saying Oz isn't sexy?
We've already had this conversation in person.
Wait. Which one is Oz? Is Oz the one that looks like chocolate, or is Oz a different one?
Oz is, the one that's completely shadow.
I love that. That's the only alternative that I play is Oz. If I'm just feeling no, I would like to look like I could eat me.
Honestly, yeah. Consume me, daddy. But as we get started, I think we've talked enough. We got to get into who we're talking about. So do you guys mind if I get us started? Because I'm feeling very passionate today.
Which daddy with consumption do you want to bring us today?
Not much of a daddy, more of a hot buff mommy, because I want to talk about a side character that was in the original game but became a main character in Monster Camp, and that is Dahlia Aquino. Dahlia Aquino is a tall demon with blue skin and horns and rippling muscles. Her body is covered in several dull pink nicks and cuts, presumably from previous fights she was involved with. And known as a warmonger, Dahlia is aggressive and craves competition through battle or collecting camp badges. Dahlia is all about seeing strengths in every person she meets, whether through their personality or for her more physical desires. I like her because she's buff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's just strong. She looks like she can pick me up and slam me down. And honestly, sometimes that's all you need in life. Sometimes you need somebody to walk up to you, say, "You're mine now," and choke slam you into a fucking wall and then pound it out. And honestly, that's all I want in life.
Okay. All you want in life is a self-proclaimed proud warmonger who's boring.
Boring?
Thank you.
No, we're already starting off this wrong. First of all, warmonger, I can change her.
Oh,
okay.
I can fix her.
You can fix her? You can fix her?
Fix her.
Bro.
If she had a mother.
Can I tell you something?
Oh,
about
God.
the both of us. I don't know about Brandy, but you're Puerto Rican and I'm Korean. What
That
are
is
we going to do about war?
You're.
I'm literally Native American.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Well,
So someone
I don't need.
thinking. Okay.
Don't look at me.
Anyway, she's boring.
She's not boring. I don't think she's boring. She craves competition. It's like she's your athletic kind of girlfriend, I think. She like wants to go on hikes. She wants to go on competitions. She's like, you're gonna do Spartan runs together, shit like that. Like
Do
train
you
together.
want to do that?
Is that a selling point?
Do you want to
Athletics?
do that?
Joint athletics? I don't know you at all.
Well, no, per se. The last time I did physical exercise, I threw up. But what if I was like her Yoda and I just like crawled into a little baby pouch on her back and I'm like, go. Because there's different strengths. There's different strengths in life.
I need to rewatch Star Wars.
What are Dahlia's, like, what were her preferences?
So she, interesting enough, even if we bring up a little bit of the stats of the game and how the game works, for Dahlia, all you need to do is excel in one stat. Like you have to have a 15 or above if you played the game. Also, I will say this, there might be some minor spoilers for the game for people who may not have played it yet, but it's very much, yeah, fuck you. In the game, you only need to have a 15 or above in any stat. So that what she excels for, what she looks for is strength in a particular thing. Like she finds, like I was reading some of her character descriptions, like she finds Liam very sexy. Like even though Liam is not physically, Randy, you made a face.
I did make a face. I'm sorry. Liam and I fight with that game like Liam is real. That is how much Liam pisses me off. But I also have to say that the reason I'm not a big Dahlia fan is that like I'm a bottom, right? I'm more on the submissive side of things.
All
I
of
know
us.
what I like. Yeah, it's because I do so much work. I like to relax. Dahlia strikes some sort of chord in me where if she tried to dom me, I would react extremely poorly.
Okay, I get that. Here's what I'll say. As the Council of Bottoms here, I think
the Triumvirate of Bottom.
Actually, that sounds like such a hard fucking name. Like I honestly, the Triumvirate of Bottoms sounds fucking tight as fuck. I think she'd be. There are tops, and then there's aggressive tops, and I feel like she would be the one to be a very aggressive top and like real go to town on you. It's like, yo, Dahlia, please, it's been 6 hours and I have work in the morning.
Like she has her own personal fucking goal to accomplish during the session or something, or like not even I not even like an aggressive top, but almost like an aggressive puppy top kind of thing.
Like the way I
wants you to be very expressive.
I'm tired.
She would have a step goal in between, just like 300 squats on your dick is what I gotta do my daily exercise kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
I would fall asleep.
You're into that.
I would just fall asleep. I'd wake up, be like, are you still okay. I'm going back to sleep. Don't wake me up. Fucking, I have work in the morning.
I will say that's a side door we could talk about with some when we get to the Papa skill. But I also want to bring up your statement of her being boring, because I don't think she's boring. She finds strength. What I like about her, after reading a little bit of her descriptions of, is that she finds strength in everybody. Like she will look at you and try to find the strength that makes you you.
Everyone can cook.
Everyone can cook, and everyone can cook up some fucking dick game. You know what I'm saying?
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't know either. But she finds strength in you.
Okay, I will say, I want to know, Brandy, why you think she's boring, because it might be the same.
Yeah, I also don't like the concept of somebody having to find strength in me. The moment somebody wants me to prove myself, I will not meet your expectations. I will disappoint you on purpose, out of spite. Get out of my face. Absolutely not. I find her boring because she doesn't have passion that's like driven and not connected to something else. And I need somebody to have passion that is just like their own and intrinsic in order for me to be attracted to them. And she is literally just about being competitive, which is intrinsically attracted to other people. And then like the whole finding strength thing is like immediately I just go like, excuse me, why do you get to determine what's strong? I just don't like being told what to do by somebody that I don't think deserves to tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Randy, we're very new friends, but I do want to say that's giving off real strong brat energy at this, and I think Dahlia would see that as a challenge.
But that is where you make the mistake, because you do not break brats by trying. You break brats by ignoring them. That's how you get them to crack.
That is true.
This is not autobiographical.
No.
But like, that is what a successful brat tamer does. Is they don't give in. They don't up the stakes, which is why I don't think she'd be able to do it.
Honestly, I think I agree with that. Yeah. So possibility. Let's jump right into the Papa scale for possibility, which I think out of most monster prom and camp characters, she is the most possible.
She's pretty approachable.
Yeah, she's pretty approachable. She wants to compete with you. And if we're talking mechanics wise, you only need to max out one stat. With other characters, you have to have like wits and charm and like $35,000 and stuff like that, or like have certain conditions. With her, you just have to be good at one thing. You just have to show that you're good at one thing. And she's like, wow, I like that. That's what I want to see. I will suck your dick behind cabin number 3. So I think she's very possible. So that's why I want to give her a 7. With the points deducted being the over competitiveness that will turn some people off. And that makes it less possible, because if you don't meet her standard of competitiveness and strength, you know.
I follow that same kind of thing. I feel like it is a little hard. It's like a 15 in boldness or something.
Yes, you need a 15.
It is definitely hard to get a 15, unless like you're actually like constantly going to the gym or something, or whatever the camp place is. And I find most of the time I want to like be a jack of all trades for the most part in Monster Prom and Monster Camp, which might not actually be
a jack of all trades. It's a master of none.
A strategy. Yeah.
Better than master of one, though, is how the rest of that phrase goes.
I don't read. Blocking it out.
I'm going to go for 7 as well, because it's just like, it's not impossible. You work a little bit harder, but it's not.
I would give an 8 simply for the fact that, as we have also addressed, I'm adding the fact that like she would want to, and I would not want to. So she's very accessible to me.
Yeah,
I'm not accessible to her. So I'll give 8 for possibility.
Okay. All right. I like it. Attractiveness. I'm going to give this a 9 straight up. I don't know if I've already said it. Buff, hot, slammy, choke me, daddy.
She is really hot. I do like muscular characters in general. And she's like tall and like an Oni, right?
She got abs for days.
Does she have a tail? I think she has a tail.
She does have a large spiral tail. No wings, which is a godsend.
No wings.
No wings.
Wings are a deal breaker for you guys?
For me.
For Claire.
I don't like wings. Well, we could talk about with another character that has wings,
right.
But I just despise the concept of wings.
Fair. Ooh, I give her a 3. I actually am not. I was not into Dahlia.
Brandy, it was wonderful having you on the show, but unfortunately,
it was originally a 2, but then I remembered that she has a tail, and that's okay. So
this hurts a little bit.
I don't feel strongly either way on this spectrum. I feel like she's not a 5 necessarily, but I think she's probably a 6. Her design is like cool, but it doesn't really strike me as like the most interesting.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that's one of those scores hurt me. We don't have to say which one of your scores hurt me, but we can move on to audacity. How audacious it is to be with this person. And I would rank this as very audacious, genuinely. It's not hard to do. It's not difficult to do. It's like she will be competitive with you. If she sees you like excel in art, she's like, I can draw better than you. And then like when she loses, she'll be like, damn, guess it's time to suck your dick. But it's still, you have to excel in one thing. You have to be competitive. It's a whole, like, you have to keep up with her lifestyle. Seems like a lot.
That's true.
I'll give it a 3. Like it's it's audacious. It's a trial.
I was going to give this a 5 because I feel like if I remember correctly, a lot of her stuff is based in like athleticism and like leadership and whatever. But I think it's also part of her temperament to value other people's feats of strength, whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a 5, like just midway. Not that it is like potentially dangerous. Not that it isn't potentially dangerous to be with her, but like she's. It's just the fact that she's mid, and that's it.
I was literally about to say that.
She's not mid, guys. She's cute to me.
But that's okay.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'd say like 4 because frankly I feel I could be scarier than she is. So it's
Honestly, all right. So 3, a 4, and a 5. We're doing a climbing scale here.
Yeah.
Finally, we have parental approval. And I think the parental approval I want to give for this is just like if we were in the monster camp or monster prom world. Because in other ones, we're bringing like fantasy creatures to the real world or in the scenarios that we're in. But I think for this one, we'll assume that we're in a monster camp prom era kind of thing. And honestly, with my Crucian immigrant parents, that's a 2. Because I feel like she tried to punch my dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like she'd just roundhouse kick my dad and then try to compete to be the alpha of my family. And as a bottom, I'd be like, oh. But as a child, I'd be like, damn.
As someone financially dependent on my parents. Yeah. Also a 2. Because there are some things where it would be really gratifying for my partner to punch my parent in the face. However, social graces.
What's the highest parental approval that you can have?
10?
The lowest
8.
is 1. 8.
An
Oh,
8.
8, really?
So my mom would have been just happy that I'm not with a man. That's really it.
God bless.
And then my dad is pretty much the most laid back person on the planet. For simplicity's sake, I did like grow up in a lot of different foster families, so I have a lot of parents, but if I go with my main adoptive parents, yeah, they would not. If anything, I think they would assume I am the top and the dom in the relationship, and they would really be like kind of bored. I think they'd be a little underwhelmed by my choice, and Dahlia would try to fight my mom, and my mom would crush her because my mom was a badass.
I'm not really appreciating all of this mid energy that's coming from the rest of the bottom council here.
We're not the ones with mid energy. The fuck are you talking about?
Let's pause for math, guys. Let's just pause for math.
Let's pause for math.
All right, so we got our overall scores. I, for Dahlia, got a 5.3.
I got a 5.
I got a really gross 5.8.
I this is my monster. How did I get the mid score?
You matched the energy.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I queued it up and I knew it was coming, and I'm still hurt. But with all our scores added together, that gives us an average score of a 5.4, which unfortunately puts Dahlia in the middle. Puts her in the mid.
It puts her under harpies.
No, not under harpies.
Wow. Knowing what I know about the wing thing now, that's a lot.
Not under harpies. But with that, we have the destructive Dahlia out of the picture, and it's time for us to move on to another Monster Camp Prom character. Brandy, do you want to introduce who you've brought to us today?
Yes. So I have brought to us a man so sexy, so wonderful. He only needs one name. It's not even a real name. Does that really matter? I don't think so. So, Coach from Monster Camp, the Were-Tiger. Coach is the walking embodiment of soft daddy issues and compet. A giant were-tiger with a heart of gold and a warm smile and biceps the size of bobcats, who seems like he would absolutely never hurt a fly. So naturally, he must be a wildcat, pun intended, in the sack, in the bunk, in the gap, doesn't matter.
I almost fucking threw up. The
way that Cleric and I both looked at each other in shock.
Because for those of you who don't have visual, which is not all of you, Brandy just started reading out the description, and me and Joe had to like cover our mouths to not interrupt it. Because we were like, it's so good. That was such a perfect transition into it that I could not I would have felt horrible interrupting. The shock and awe factor. Because again, for another behind the scenes, me and Joe had no idea what Brandy was bringing to the table. We had no idea what character it was. There's a lot to process here. I'm trying to wrap my brain a little bit.
While you guys process, there's a fun fact. You guys know how, in the older days, you would look something up and then you'd get 80 porn pop-ups on your computer, and there'd be a voice saying hot singles in your area. Yeah, when I was in college, my first voice acting gig was I got paid $800 to record a bunch of those for people who made pop-up ads.
Let's get on that, honestly. Let's make pop up.
It's a lot.
Let's make pop up. Actually,
and they were in German, which makes it so much filthier.
You can't keep dropping bombs like this in the middle of recording.
There you go. This is for the audience. You're supposed to be processing.
Coach. So
Coach.
first that I'll bring up is this feels like a werebear situation where it's like no, it's because it's like a werebear were tiger like is tangentially related. So it's like a were tiger and big tiger. I mean, everyone finds Tony the Tiger sexy, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. Tony the Tiger is objectively sexy. Do you know how much porn there is of him?
No, I did not.
There's thousands.
But I do now.
They really draw him grotesquely accurate. But I think Coach kind of falls along the same lines of sexy tiger man. He's got a dad bod. He wants to just support you, not usually in the right way in the game. He supports you in like weird ways.
No, I love him. I love his official thing is that he is the proud leader of the Monster Scouts. He desperately wants for you to learn how to be prepared in case of a bear attack. And another thing he likes to do is commanding the scouts to sell healthy Monster Scout cookies. So I love him because I have soft daddy issues. And my comp pet likes to express itself in video game characters. And he really came in. He just waltzed in and said, I own this bitch now. And I said, yes, you do. Absolutely. You are very welcome. Thank you very much. Yes, I will absolutely eat my vegetables. Please rail me.
Oh,
It was a lot.
I'm fascinated. I went on his Wikipedia page. It says that he is asexual and regularly attends a support group for asexual people in a world so sexualized it might as well be a dating sim, apparently.
I should have looked this up.
Wow.
No, it's totally fine. I think that is such a like endearing factor about him, honestly.
Yeah, that does actually raise him up in my eyes a little bit. That's so nice.
I love him. The reason I love him is he gives me fat gum vibes. Like, he's just so kind.
Yeah.
And I find that incredibly hot.
And I think very much would be an asexual that very much appreciates how sex acts physiologically to people's bodies and then would just, eat you out, dick you down as good as you want. And he'd be like, all right, I'm good. And then just, doesn't expect anything from you back. That would be amazing.
The ideal.
Yeah.
The ideal man, TBH.
I think even if it's one of those things where it's less of a physically sexual partnership or just like one that's like, hey, I know you have needs, I'll keep it open, but I'm also here to support you should you need anything. Like, I'm here to, like, we can have, like, sexy dialogue, we can talk about it, but physically, like, if you need physical needs met, please, you can find it somewhere else. Because I want to still be with you, kind of vibes. That's the kind of vibes I'm getting from it a little bit.
Ideal.
Absolutely.
And I think that's ideal. I think, honestly, off the initial shock, the more we learn about Coach, the more he might be the best character in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I know how to pick him fictionally at 5 times out of 10. I say that like I didn't play Boyfriend Dungeon and then immediately only be attracted to the one that I, on first date, realized like, oh, this is a narcissistic psychopath. Oops. My bad. So yeah, 5 times out of 10.
It happens to the best of us. There's always one path we go down where we try to date a character in a dating sim. Turns out they're a cult leader trying to murder all of our families.
As long as they're a hot woman, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
you excuse a lot of things for hot women.
As you should.
Fascism,
I support women's wrongs.
Murder. Yeah, anyway.
I also like his mustache. It's the mustache and the beard. The fact that he is a were-tiger and still has what is described instead of as fur as a mustache and beard.
Yes, yeah.
The distinction is great.
That's a solid combo. I think, for possibility, it's weird. Because again, it's a dating sim, so any character is totally, like, raises up the possibility, I think, by 2 points initially. But again, I think you have to, like, match... Because he wants to... I'm trying to think more of his personality. Like, and my personality, like, are kind of getting stuck that he's, like, a coach. He likes athleticism. He wants to make sure you're okay, kind of thing. Is, like, the gentle dad vibes. And I think he would... If you go up to him, it would be really... I think it would be really hard to get into a relationship with him. Genuinely. Because I think he would want to be more of a caretaker than a partner. So
I can fix him. But I also like whatever's wrong with him also. It's great.
We can't keep fixing things.
You're the OG fixer.
Please. Not you.
I think I'd give it a 6. I think a 6 is fair. Possibility.
I think he'd be very possible because I think I can connect with him. I know him. I got this. Because I'm aromantic and I feel we can connect with an alternative, reality of Monster Pop, Monster Camp, where everybody else is hypersexual and often hyper romantic, and it's just like, no, I think maybe we can connect on like maybe not partaking entirely in the way everybody else does. And also, I am an actress, and I'll do what it takes. I will do what it takes for this Tony the Tiger ass man, and I will do it. There is a reason that my Facebook, who uses Facebook? My Twitter display name for a while was Fat Gum's Trad Wife, and it's because I like Fat Gum so much that my co-host on some of my shows, Olivia, called me that, and I said I wouldn't, and then immediately she went, "You wouldn't, you wouldn't be a Trad Wife for Fat Gum," and I was like, "You're right. I would probably throw away absolutely every core tenet about my existence and identity." To become Fat Gum's Trad Wife. And you know what? I think I could do it for Coach.
Oh my God.
And honestly, if you don't have somebody you throw away your entire personality and well-being to be with, are you even living?
We're gonna move on from that. What's your score, Brandy?
I'd say an 8.
8.
Okay.
I'd say an 8.
Yeah. I feel like I might squarely be in the middle of y'all because it depends on where I am in particular in this world. Like, are we the residents of the Monster Prom High School?
Well, they're also like all of them are
they're all,
way
like, 20
above.
something.
Yeah, they're in their
Yeah,
20s.
I know, but like if he is technically someone that is in a power dynamic situation as a coach or like a gym teacher, that can get kind of screwy very fast. So if I am in that situation, just out of my own comfort and morals, I probably wouldn't want to approach him. But I think outside of this, he would very much. I feel like immediately you find out he's great with kids. Immediately you find out that he is like accommodating and inclusive of like so many different sexual accommodations and things. But I don't know what else would draw me or him to me necessarily. But I feel like I'm gonna put myself in a safe 7, just in the middle of the both of you.
I think for him, I saw myself as like a single monster MILF.
There we go.
Who just hangs out after little parent meetings a little bit too long.
Like,
and
Coach, can we please talk about my son's Little League game?
You don't have a son.
Doesn't matter. I grabbed a random child. I was like, I am your mother now. I will give you $50.
You $50 to fall in front of him so I can just go over here. Now let's move on to attractive.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give this a solid 9, straight up. Just straight up 9. He's a were-tiger. He's, like you said, he's good with kids. He gives soft dom energy. He wants to take care of you. Like, he's got that caring vibes, and he'll never cross a boundary, ever. I don't think he'll ever cross a boundary. And if he ever does accidentally, it would devastate him emotionally for years to come.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
So, I think, I want to save my 10 out of 10, but I want to give this a 9.
Yeah, I'm echoing that. This is going to be my first 9. I want to belly worship this man. Also, Korea's like national animal is the fucking tiger. So like this like orange tiger image is always just something I just always get happy about. So just like seeing someone and just immediately being happy is like, that's pretty sick.
I'm a guest. I don't have to save shit. I'm giving a 10 out of 10 because I personally, I am a huge fan of non-sexual intimacy. So as much as he gives me rail me vibes, if he never, ever, ever wanted to do that, I do not give a fuck. I'm poly anyway. It's fine. And he's so understanding. I know that wouldn't be an issue. And I love non-sexual intimacy. And I think that he is just a very supportive partner. He'd be cool with how busy I am. He's so hot all around. And he'd let me have an outlet for the comp pet without the horrible repercussions of being with a real life man. So, 10 out of 10.
Even thinking about like the nonsense is like I can even imagine like you're spending all day just like recording, like you're like on the computer coming out, you emerge from the room, and then it's just like he has a meal waiting for you to ask you like, hey, how'd it go? How's everything going? And then like you're like, it was all right. You eat your food, and then you sit on the couch, you cuddle in, watching Netflix, and going to bed.
The massages you get from those big ass paws.
Oh my god, the
sitting
paws.
in these chairs. Oh, and the toe beans. You get toe beans whenever you want. Toe beans on demand. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Audacity. How audacious it is to go for this monster or this person. I think this is a 5. the reason like Joe, you brought up, it's the middle of the road. If he's a teacher or a coach of the school, I feel like that's a whole different power dynamic and situation there. But if you're in the world and you somehow have a kid that goes to the school, or like you're very invested in little league games, I think it's possible. Like definitely, normal romance can bloom from that. So I think 5, middle of the road.
Yeah, I agree. 5 for me.
I don't know if it's a 5 because the thing is that regardless of how little time teachers fucking have, even if they're like, who knows what else he does, teachers still have lives. Teachers still are like, nightlife entertainment workers or whatever. It's not super audacious to go for a teacher, I think. So I feel I'm going to give this a 7, actually.
I don't know if this changes anything, but canonically, his father is a tiger tycoon who made billions selling unhealthy sugar-frosted cornflakes to kids.
His dad is
He's
Tony the Tiger.
I'd fuck him and his dad. Easy. I'd suck his dad's dick.
And he does not get along with him because he disagrees with the exploitation, and that is why he pushes teaching kids and young people healthy lifestyles.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
And honestly, he wouldn't even give me an eating disorder if he were my gym teacher,
Exactly. Which is so rare and like really appreciated.
So much happened in this past minute. But
technically though, that means he's rich.
Yeah.
Rich daddy who'll take care of you. Oh, yeah. Raise it up. Parental acceptance, 9 out of 10.
Ooh, actually.
Oh, are we getting...
Oh,
it's a man, right?
It's a man.
Oh, that's true.
It's a man, and he's not exactly. Well, although my mom does appreciate a simp, or did appreciate a simp. Oh, I guess it would be a 7, but I'd have to have like a private talk with my parents before and after.
Also,
as like a disclaimer.
Yeah. Also, you brought up a good point. I forgot my parents are homophobic. 4.
Yeah, that'll...
Yeah. Oh my God.
Completely forgot about that part.
We've been forgetting about that this whole time.
Yeah,
so.
Honestly, we gotta subtract a whole lot of points from
wait. No, it would go back up. My parents love cats.
Perfect.
All right, bounce it out.
Oh, I might actually have a problem. It might be more audacious for me. I am fatally allergic to animal hair.
Oh my God.
But my parents love cats.
So it may be...
I think,
you might have to change an audacity score because you might die from this.
I think I'd have to make my audacity score an 8 because I am truly a ride and die for this man. And then my parents' score might probably be a 7. It's a little higher. Maybe an 8 because they do really love cats. Like at the highest amount of cats on the premises, it was 14 cats.
Ooh.
Indoor, outdoor cats mostly. So, yeah.
Clark has a story, but he'll share it another time.
I'm going to go for an 8 because I think if there were any monster person that my parents would be relatively okay with, it would be a tiger man. So I feel like an 8 is solid. All
right. Well, after all these shifting scores, we got to see what our overall score is going to be. So we are going to pause for math. So we're back with our scores. I got a 6, just a straight 6 for Coach.
I got a 7.8.
I got a 7.3.
Wonderful. With all 3 of our scores added up, that gives Coach an overall score of a 7.0, which puts him in the higher registers of our monsters we've talked about.
I did good.
You did good, kid. You did good.
All right.
He would say that. Oh, boy. Oh, never mind. When it's a dock a point off the score, actually. If that's canon.
With that, we're going to be done with the caregiving Coach, and we're trying to move on to our last monster from the Monster Prom Camp series. Joe, who are you bringing to the table? I already hate you, but who are you bringing to the table?
So, just, I think thankfully we got to have 3 of all of the best worlds. We have the incredibly basic actual choices that you can get in Monster Camp. You get a coach who is a lovable NPC that you still want to have sex with just looking at him. But let's also get into the secret ending possibilities. I will be talking about Morty, the Minotaur from Camp Rival Camp. Morty the Minotaur is a secret ending love interest in Monster Camp, as well as a member of Camp Rival Camp. Wearing his camp badge sash as a red tube top and pants with cutout hearts on his ass, Morty prioritizes only the important things. Working out, fucking MILFs, showing gratitude, and becoming a more complex character. He's built to fuck, and he acknowledges that. This fact even going so far as being audited every single year by the IRS, just because he is that sexy. Thoughts?
I hate you.
I think you're so cool, but also he reminds me of when I went to my first American college party. It was at a fraternity, and I went there and I looked at my friend and I said, just to have done it, because I have been waiting to live my American pie life, I'm going to hook up with somebody before we leave. And she said, go for it. And Morty is the person that would have happened with.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about Morty is that he is wearing a tube top. He's wearing short shorts. He has heart cutouts of his ass. His dick is built by the gods. He literally said that. That's probably not true. But this is a guy who loves himself. This is a guy who's flexible. You literally have to you have to work out every time in order for you to see him. And specifically, this secret ending can be triggered by one of the drinks that you can get. I don't remember which one in particular, but as soon as I realized he was an option, I knew I had to bring him to the table. This is my second Minotaur of the show, despite not having done a Minotaur episode quite yet because of some people.
Really? Who's the some people?
And he got so angry about a potential law to outlaw the use of stripper poles that he was going to literally kill someone because of it.
I love him.
There's just so much about him. He's romantic. He's actively tries to become a more complex character despite being so stupid and just so sexy.
Okay. So I see several problems wrong with this guy.
Okay.
And
you're homophobic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what else you got?
And you hate fun.
That is true. I am the fun police.
People.
I hate sexy people. That is correct.
Yeah.
Only
you
British
hate people with body hair.
Sure. Add it on. Twitter is already eating me alive. The problems I have with him is, one, he feels like a caricature and not a good one. Like, He feels like he's very, what the fuck is this? Sorry. Joe just sent us a little thing.
You can give him a hand job during the meteor shower. What were you saying? I wasn't paying attention.
I know you weren't. I know you weren't.
Extra points.
I don't want to give you a handy during the meteor shower.
Why not?
Why not? It's romantic.
I don't want to be showered with meteors and cum.
That's why you swallow. The fuck?
That's not part of the hand job.
If you aim correctly, it is.
What is happening?
He's ganging up on Cleric is what this episode is.
What about him being a caricature?
Because he's like, what if you're not super into somebody being very flirty with you from the start, and he continues to be this way? It's it makes it could make you uncomfortable. It could be this whole fair thing. If you're just going off his initial meeting him, and unless you go through the whole process with him, it can come off as very overtly narcissistic.
I think I'd slap him. The first time I played this game and he popped up and he was fucking weird as shit.
Yeah.
I think my instinct was is there an option to slap this this shithead? But that's, I don't know why, but that's the fantasy though.
He would respect that, actually.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, that you're the first time you meet him, and the first impression is one that's not, he doesn't give off a good first impression. And if you can't get past that first impression, or even if he can't get past that first impression, that's negative. That ruins certain things. And also, he's a Minotaur, so fuck you.
Your first
God
impression
gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers.
Exactly. Cleric's first impression of me was that I hated him. So not all first impressions.
You still hate me. I don't my impression was right. I have a podcast with you. We hang out almost daily. Motherfucker, you still hate me. You've been to my home and broke my floor. You
That's
still hate me. That is true. That is actually a true story. Joe in my apartment came over and broke my fucking floor. So honestly, my first impression was right. I think I'm right. Let's move on to possibility.
I mean, okay, so he is part of Camp Rival Camp.
Yes.
I will say that. So
if we're talking about mechanics of the game, I will say this. If we're talking about mechanics of the game, you have to very difficultly get a certain drink, do a certain action, do a whole bunch of on the whole 9 yards while also always going to the gym. So it's very hard to meet him, which lowers possibility down because it has to be again, like you said, he's a part of a rival camp. And if we were in that world, in that camp, the interacting on a friendly basis with a rival camp doesn't really mesh well. Besides that, I think he wants to fuck. He wants to fuck, and he's a Minotaur, and he's got a large cock. Unlike other Minotaurs, let me say this. Unlike other Minotaurs that Joe has brought to the table, he's not 20 feet fucking tall. He's normal 8 foot, 9 foot tall, which I think is fine. That's
fantastic.
That's within the range of getting penetrated. Sometimes I sit down and think about the words I say.
I don't think so. I think that's not true.
That's true. So I'm going to give this a 6. I think it's very possible to fuck. I think he wants to fuck. I think it's physically possible to suck. But for me personally, I hate Minotaurs.
I'm gonna echo giving a 6 to Morty, is what I said.
Really? I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, when it comes to playing games, I'm really not trying that hard. I do not look up the fucking keys and codes to succeeding at Monster Pump or Camp. That's why I've probably only gotten one date, and that was with Damien, and he's a fucking whore. He's
I will say I'm somebody who looks up walkthroughs for these kind of games, so I definitely would do the whole walkthrough for it.
I think it's an 8 because if you are slutty enough, anything is possible.
That's so true.
And I have been the delinquent who will sneak out of camp, sneak out of class, sneak out of school, sneak out of university classes to do what I wanted to do. So I just believe in myself, and I believe in my ability to make this happen. Because if I want something, I am on a mission. Just like I walked into that frat house, I had a mission, I came, I saw, I conquered, and I fucked off again, and it was fantastic. Just to have done, just to have done once. The accessibility is could you do it? Which could you do it once? Absolutely. Is a relationship harder? Absolutely. But once, could I make it work once? Absolutely, it's an 8.
That's the best embodiment of what MFA is all about. Fuck it, that should be our slogan. That should be one of our slogans right there.
When I came, I saw, I conquered.
Fist up Breakfast Club. And I fucked off. And that's what we're looking for. Let's go. Attractiveness, 3.
I figured as much.
Yeah. I don't, for both the meme and just it's mostly for the meme of how I hate Minotaurs, because Joe likes them so much. Also, I'm not out of all the Minotaurs, I don't find him the sexiest Minotaur.
That's fair.
Brent's sexy.
Brent, Asterius.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That is fair. I was also going to I wasn't going to give him a fucking 3. I think I will give him an 8, which is still definitely a good score out of 10. When I first saw him, I thought he was like a pig or like a boar. It was not actually that clear what he was. But then you look at the rest of him and it's fucking peak. It's amazing.
You probably,
so 8.
I'm just thinking about this in his outfit. You could probably eat his ass just straight with his pants on.
Yes, yeah, you just move it. That could probably work. I am going to say something potentially controversial. It's a 4.
No, that's totally fine.
Because willingness to do something for me isn't necessarily even tied to how attractive. It's more I've decided to do this, so I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I might ask him to stop talking.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hi, yeah, I'm already fucking you. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm just going to put a gag in your mouth real quick.
I mean,
just gonna grab the snout with my hand and hold it closed.
You'll be into it.
I think he's a verse bottom. I think he has to be
mm-hmm.
I think you do have to work. You definitely have to work.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd love to get pegged. I feel like that's the energy he gives off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all right, shut the fuck up.
I feel he could have fun. He could have fun with anything.
Yeah.
I'd almost say verse switch. I think if you present a situation to him, I think he could be amicable to pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now on to Audacity. This is not audacious at all.
It's not.
No.
It's
easy.
so easy. They give it a 9. I don't. You know what? Give it a 10. Genuinely, it's that easy.
Whoa.
It's that. First of all, I want to make this clear. Easiness is not a bad thing.
No.
I don't want anyone to think that it is for the show. It's not a bad thing at all. Being comfortable in your body, being comfortable with what you like, and being able to overtly say it is good. But I think he is super easy to get with. There really is no struggle with it. There's no, you could literally just ask like, hey, can I give you a blowjob or can you like eat my ass? He's like, yeah, sure, 100%.
Just drop whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's definitely not a 10 to me. It feels like an 8 situation or 9.
Yeah, I think it's still high. I think it's fair.
It's a 9. It's easy, but I think the reason it's easy is because all of us would still approach it respectfully. I feel like it's not a 10 for me because there is still the one like little point of like, if somebody approached him disrespectfully, I think he'd tell them to buzz off. So I'd say a 9.
That's true. If you were, I think you would disrespectful, he would punch you in the throat.
Yep.
Yeah, he still has muscles.
Yeah.
So it's,
yeah.
You'd crush your windpipe.
Yeah, which is the appeal.
Mm-hmm. Parental approval.
Parental.
Again, he's a man, so that lowers it by 5 points for my parents.
Same.
And then Giant Minotaur, who is not overtly, but more open with doing sexual stuff, parents would not approve. I think I have to give this a 1.
Yeah, I'm going for, I think immediately everyone gets a 5 if they can be mask presenting. But I think my parents, for whatever backwards Christian immigrant reason, absolutely hate sexual positivity.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 6 because I think as long as I'm just passing him off as like a gym bro, which he is, it could work if we basically just...
Here's the thing though, I don't think he would straight up show up to your, like, he's like, hey babe, we're going to introduce you to like my parents, like please just like, I need you to like put on jeans and a t-shirt. That's all I need. And he's like, sure, jeans and t-shirt, no problem. He shows up and he's wearing a shirt with his nipples cut out.
Regina
with like
George.
Yeah. And then like the jeans, shorts, and then like half his dick is hanging out of the shorts. And he's like, I wore it, which exactly what you asked.
I couldn't even be mad.
I mean, true.
9. It's a 9. To be for reference, my adoptive parents are extremely sex positive to the point where my dad was a pornographic photographer in the 70s. And my mom has been a very proud, and she would use this term, slut her whole life. And one time at an Olive Garden, she put her arm around me when I was 19, looked at the server who was our age and went, hey, we're both on the pill. For reference, my mom was 74 and I died.
That is incredible.
Actually, they would really love that.
Is your mom single? No reason. Just want to know.
Oh my God. She would just love the energy and the confidence. And I think they would be able to overlook that he's a man for the fact that he seems so confident and positive that they'd just be like, yes, you are definitely not having boring sex, which was a legitimate concern that my mom had for me for a very long time. I straight up, I think a 9. I think they would really like it. And then my dad doesn't really care about anything as long as they're nice to me, which he would be because he wouldn't be degrading, especially not like in public. He's very positive. Yeah. So I feel like, my dad would just close an eye and pretend that he can't see and it'd be fine. Or actually my dad would just take his hearing aids out. He does that all the time.
Fair.
Yeah.
King shit.
Honestly, king shit. Absolute king shit.
Let's do some sexy math.
Sexy math. We now got our overall scores for Joe's pick. I got a 5.0. Joe, what did you get?
I got a 7.3.
And Brandy?
I got a 7.5.
Wow, there is a large jump from my score to y'all's.
Just because we made very not mid choices.
Every day my life is pain. I jump into these recordings and my life is pain.
Oh, you stretch and your skin rips. It's made of paper. Your bones are made of glass and you cry yourself to sleep every night. I know.
Only one of those things is right. For our overall score for Morty is a 6.6. So that's pretty up. That's pretty up there. That's close to near the top of our list for monsters in general. So not too bad. I really don't think he's like the worst. He is a Minotaur, but he isn't the worst. With that, I think we have to wrap up the Man Whore Morty. And now it's time to rank the 3 for the episode we talked about. Coming in last place, or number 3, ranked at a 5.4, is the dangerous demoness Dahlia Aquino. She's not boring, guys. She's not mid. She's tough. She's strong. She got muscles. She got abs. Please reconsider.
I'm scarier than she is, so it just would never work out.
Too much of a bottom to argue with her.
Yeah.
In second place, we have the lover of love, the man whore of man whores, Morty, with a 6.6, which I think that's pretty fair. I think it's a fair
Pretty
score.
good.
It's up there. He's lovely. He's slinging that dick around, and you know he got it good. You know he know how to do the motion of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And in first place, with a 7, a straight 7, is the caring, the colorful, the serial connoisseur Coach.
Love of my life.
Honestly, he's a great choice.
Absolutely.
Finding out more about him made him more of an interesting character, which makes me want to pursue him or just have more interactions with him in the game when I play the game. Seek those out.
What's the game company called that made Monster Camp?
I was just gonna say Game Grumps for some reason.
They're in it.
Is it Beautiful Glitch?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hi, Beautiful Glitch. Make Coach romanceable in a way that fits.
Please.
For him, please.
Please make him romantic.
I just want to take him on a nice date. I just want to treat him nice.
I will say, Beautiful Glitch, thank you for making such a great game that we can talk about. Shout out to them. But with that, this has been a fun episode. I've had so much fun on this episode. Genuinely.
This has been ridiculous, yeah.
This was fun. We've assembled the Triumvirate of Bottoms officially. That is our band name. That is any bottom... if any bottom information is out there or anything that has to be approved of by bottoms, it has to come to the three of us first, and we will approve or disapprove it. Remember that. Brandy, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Of course.
We're going to do some closing thoughts for this one. Brandy, is there anything you want to say / shout out?
First of all, thank you so much for having me and for agreeing to talk about Monster Prom Monster Camp and letting me talk about how much I like fucking monsters. Coach is the love of my life that I will happily share with whoever wants him because he just has so much love to give and to go around. And Dahlia is mid. But apart from that, I just would shout out that my newest show, Roll With It, is airing soon. It'll be on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/cutestpatoot. And then my Twitter is @thebrandy_rose. And that's where everybody can find all of the stuff that I do and the soon to be announced 10th show that I produce and host.
So Brandy has like the Thanos of of shows, just collecting just stones and rings like crazy. Joe, any closing thoughts for you?
Don't go to school.
That's such an odd
Just leave.
Drop out. This is MFA's official notice for you to drop out of school.
We are anti-college.
Anti-college.
I support it. I dropped out of my PhD. I get you.
Took me 6 years to get a degree and 4 mental breakdowns. And I'm not doing anything my degree has to do with it. So go to community college if you want to go to anything. Get a 2-year. Save so much money. Experience college and then fuck off. And my closing thoughts. Again, fun episode. Monster Prom Monster Camp. We got to play it more. Maybe we'll do a stream of it. Playing it. We should definitely do one. But with that, I think it's time for us to ascend. I think our bus is here to head off to camp. We all kind of load up and head on and make sure we get to summer camp, everybody. So with that, it's time for us to say goodbye.
Bye.